dangerous. I'm imagining a lawsuit here pretty soon. One more time for Captain Kilt. Let's kill some time. All right. Well, no show would be complete without an R-rated comic, so we have one of those for you tonight as well. This is his first time on stage, and I think you're going to enjoy him a lot. Let's have a nice round of applause for Joe Carpinello.
That's Rob Carpinello, by the way, not Joe. So, growing up, I had a drill sergeant for a father. Green Beret. So let's just say he wasn't a timeout dad. We got beatings. I was afraid to ask him for $1 for the ice cream man. And God forbid that phone rang during dinner. Remember those wolf phones? It was a code red. We braced for impact and jumped under the table. But one time, I was 13 years old, and I used his jacuzzi tub to get off. I would get the old hammer and put it against the jet, like this. Yeah. Best orgasm ever. Beats choking yourself, okay? So the next day, I'm walking by the bathroom and I see him on all fours, scraping the side of the tub with all the dried up cum. What the fuck is this shit? I was like, oh, fuck. Think of something quick. I was like, yeah, Dad, I saw Mike in there yesterday for 2 hours. He beelines for my younger brother, grabs him by the back of the neck like a puppy that just shit off the wee-wee pad. All right, sticks his face in it. I was like, peace out, I'm out of here. It was just, back then, it was just easier to blame your younger brother. I eventually grew up, moved on to Wall Street, the School of Hard Knocks, I called it. And I was in this intense carpool. So the craziest conversations. So one day, we're talking about gynecologists and how they look at your girl or your wife. So picture this, you're in a restaurant and your gynecologist walks in. You could bet dollars to donuts he's saying to himself, she's got a pretty pink taco. So as he proceeds to say hi, so as a man now, you're sitting there squirming in your seat. Awkward. Check, please. So you make your way to the door and you glance over one last time as you're walking out the door, and he gives you that look. I get to play with it. I get to play with it. Okay. So the two guys in the carpool, 2 of the 4, split decision it was, 2 say, you're an absolute nutbag. They don't think like that. They're professionals. I said, professionals? Really? I said, they didn't jerk off the Playboy before they were doctors? Come on, dude. Men are men. It's only one real way to find out. Get him piss-ass drunk, and the truth will spill out like the yeast he juggles daily, okay? So now we're here in Florida, God's waiting room, Sunshine State. I always wanted to be here, okay? Until they warn you about hurricanes, Alligator Alley, something called a heat index. I said, gators. I said, that's nothing compared to the swamp ass I have. That's a category 5 at 2 in the afternoon. So my son asked me, Dad, what's a redneck? I said, son, if you see a guy smiling at you with 5 teeth in his mouth, and you think he could bite through a piece of Swiss cheese and only hit the holes, that's a redneck. All right? So, but one thing, it amazes me. I don't know, it's kind of skeevy to me. Everyone walks around with no shoes on. They're barefoot, like cavemen. The last shoe they seen was in the game of Monopoly. So do you know how to circumcise a redneck? Do you? You line up like a field goal kicker, and wham! Kick right, the sister right in the bottom of the jaw. Works every time. All right, so my wife really doesn't like it here. She misses her friends, I hear all the time. And sometimes I can't blame her. I mean, we went from the city that never sleeps to the city that only sleeps. But I told her, I said, you could go back. I said, I'll just find a 24-year-old and OD on Viagra. So, a buddy of mine that I went to high school with lives in Arizona now, and he checks up on me once in a while. He goes, Rob, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good. Why are you asking me like that? He goes, you sound stressed. I go, it's the usual, buddy. I said, you know, wife's breaking my balls, kids are relentless, living up to their name, CBMF, cockblocking motherfuckers. That's what I call them. He goes, you know what, Rob, you ought to get an Aura ring. I go, Aura ring? I go, they work? He goes, yeah. They tell you when to stand up, when to calm down, etc. I said, buddy, if I need a ring to constantly bitch at me, I'll just look at my wedding band. I don't need that. You know what? She's always trying to change me, like an iPhone update. So I'm like, later, bitch. Pretty happy with my current operating system. So the other night, Tuesday night, I was trying to go to bed early these days, and I hear these alarms going off. I'm like, come on, what's going on? She goes, oh, I only need 50 more steps to meet my daily goal. I go, oh yeah? I jump up, I put my hammer through my boxes and said, do 50 of these while I stick my finger up your ass. Thank you.